according to Mojo, the quarterbacks with the most future career value are Mahomes 1, 2 Herbert, 3 Allen, 4 Burrow, and 5 Trevor Lawrence. That means they believe Justin Herbert will have a better career than Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Trevor Lawrence.
He's the youngest out of all of them.
But they're all young. They're all like 26 at the oldest. I don't know. I feel like
Herbert, 23?
Yeah, but even still, Herbert's great. Obviously, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks we've seen,
24.
and we've put him in this top 5 talk really all season. I've definitely had him at 5 coming into the season. But I don't know how you could sit here right now and think he's going to have the second highest value than anyone in the league, especially look at a guy like Joe Burrow, who's been to the Super Bowl already. He's right in the midst of another playoff run. I mean, Herbert just got bounced out. You have Josh Allen, who's probably more talented than him, and you also have guys behind him like Lamar Jackson already has a unanimous MVP. You have Trevor Lawrence, who obviously actually has had more success, I should say, because he has a playoff win on his resume.
Damn.
He was the most generational quarterback we've seen since the Andrew Lucks and Peyton Mannings. He came into the league. Year 1 with Urban Meyer was a mess, but year 2, when he has a competent coach, we saw him take a huge leap this year. So Justin Herbert gets a lot of praise, and we always say how great of a quarterback he is, and the social media quarterback that's been going on with these highlight level plays, which I don't agree with the take from Acho, but I understand what he's saying. But at some point, he's got to get the playoff wins, man. If you want to have the second highest future value on Mojo, you got to have playoff wins. You got to get a conference championships, division titles, Super Bowl titles. Because right now, I look at guys behind him like Joe Burrow, who's done it already, and say, why isn't he ranked higher?
Are you saying Herbert should be 5th here?
I would definitely have Burrow over him. I would probably still have Josh Allen over him. And Lamar's a conversation too. Lamar, I mean, it's a bit of a question. It's a bit of a question because we don't know what Lamar's future holds as a team. But right now, I mean, where's Lamar? Do you have that?
I don't have where Lamar is.
I do.
He
is underneath guys right now.
This is future value?
Well, right now I'm just going by price. Dak Prescott costs more than Lamar Jackson right now. Deshaun Watson costs more than Lamar Jackson right now. Kirk Cousins costs more than Lamar Jackson right now. Joe Burrow, Russell Wilson, obviously he's older and he's a future Hall of Famer. But Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. Actually, right now, Josh Allen, maybe it's different, but I'm looking at it in terms of price right now. Patrick Mahomes, $139. Josh Allen's $101. Justin Herbert's $92. Joe Burrow's $83. I'll include Kirk in this conversation because it's kind of crazy how high he is. He's $74. Deshaun's also $74. Dak's $68, and Lamar's $66.
And I see Joe Flacco right above Lamar.
Yeah,
right?
so basically what it is that
67.
part of the price that they use, some of it is earned and some of it is future value. So Lamar has $26.35 earned. $40 is future value. So let me get another young quarterback in the NFL. So Lamar Jackson has $40 of future value.
Put Deshaun in there, I guess.
Deshaun Watson, yeah, that's a great name. Deshaun has $47 of future value.
I just have this question before I spaz. But I have this question really first. So I hope that I don't have to spaz. For the future, in your opinion, who are you taking? Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert?
I'll take Burrow.
I'm talking to Joel.
Oh,
you're saying Herbert?
No, I said Burrow.
Oh, Burrow, okay.
I'll take Burrow.
I mean, I guess I just said it. I'll take Burrow.
All right, interesting. You might be right. You might be right. That this guy might flip more than you. Or is the same as you. Because there's been one person, been one person constant that's been riding this Herbert wave with me. Absolutely. It's my buddy Joel Dehls. So maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe I need to give you an apology. Because, listen.
I praise both.
He flipped again?
I mean, they're both top 5 quarterbacks.
Absolutely. They need
so
their
you're saying that
and
you
respect.
think you're putting Herbert over all these guys?
I personally still would take Herbert. I do understand that this was a bad loss. Absolutely. Personally, I still think that you have Mahomes and then you have Herbert. In terms of talent, absolutely. Herbert's talents, the sky's the limit for him.
But aren't we right now, sorry to cut you off, just talking about their future, like what their future
which
value
is
should
exactly
be?
why I asked you, who would you take? And you said Joe Burrow, correct?
Yes.
All right, which is why I'm going to continue. When it comes to the future, I do believe that Justin Herbert is going to get over this hump. Inevitably, it's going to happen. They started on the right track. Again, I'm sorry to we're going to go on to this topic, and it's going to sound
it's the very next topic.
Okay, so I'm happy about this. Obviously, Joe Lombardi's no longer going to be the offensive coordinator. They're going to get someone that's going to work with Justin Herbert and continue to develop them as well. I believe they fired the quarterback coach as well. So this is just all in benefit to Justin Herbert. This was a bad moment, absolutely. And I called that this was a legacy game for Justin Herbert because we're going to have conversations like this that were going to impact the way that we look at Justin Herbert. And I'm not going to be oblivious. I'm not going to say that this loss isn't on Justin Herbert as well. No doubt he deserves blame in this, but I'm not going to allow it to cloud my future judgment on Justin Herbert. I understand how talented he is. And I see Joe Burrow and I see Josh Allen. Absolutely, these guys are amazing. This is a very exclusive conversation that we're having right now. But I still understand Justin Herbert's talent, and I trust his talent more than I trust Josh Allen and Burrow, and that's saying something of to what Herbert has shown me. And I know that the last that we've seen of Herbert is one of the worst collapses we've seen in NFL history, but I'm not going to allow the recency to come in and change my opinion on Herbert. I know who he is. I know what he can be, and I understand the situation that he's in. I'm looking at Burrow. I'm looking at Josh Allen. Josh Allen and Herbert's definitely a conversation in terms of situation where you could say it's relatively similar. But the offensive line that Justin Herbert's had this season was not what he had last season. The weapons that he had this season are not the same weapons that he had this season. And that's also in part to the coach as well, leaving Mike Williams to play longer than he did. So no doubt about it, I still believe that Justin Herbert deserves to be number 2 on this list. I believe in terms of talent, he is still the second most talented out of these guys. But I just have a problem with the fact that we had been Herbert guys this whole time. We've been Herbert guys. I give you your credit.
I got to defend Dehls here.
Oh, really? It's because he flipped to your side.
It's because we're flipping side bros.
Well, I saw that. That was funny.
I got to defend Dehls here.
Come on, man.
Look, what you said is beautiful. I think there's a chance that in 10 years it can age beautifully, and we're sitting here like, yeah, you're definitely right on that. It's not crazy to say Joe Burrow, you'd rather take him for the future than Herbert.
Absolutely not.
And I understand you mentioned the Herbert situation. And Joe Burrow has 3 lost starters on the offensive line.
Fair enough.
And they beat the Ravens. The Ravens
he looked ugly.
Elite. He did not. He looked
degree,
good. He was great to me. And I'll go over that game when we do the previews. Because I think because of the numbers, people don't think Burrow was great.
The defense was really good, absolutely.
In terms of the chess match, I felt like Burrow handled that as great as a quarterback can handle it. I did. But I will say this.
That's a good point.
Joe Burrow, yeah, you see Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins.
And Joe Mixon.
Yes, but the running game was not going this year.
No.
There was winning, then they adjusted, it started going. Zach Taylor's not the greatest play caller. I think he's good, but I definitely think Joe Burrow raises that ceiling. Joe Burrow mitigates offensive line issues despite not being as mobile as a Herbert. He definitely gets out the pocket more than him and makes plays out of the pocket more than Herbert, I believe.
Correct. I understand what you're saying by that.
And Joe Burrow, I think he's overcome lack of running game. He's overcome offensive line issues, coaching to a degree. I don't think either Allen, Herbert, or Burrow are in these perfect situations. I understand the weapons Burrow has for sure, but there's other things other than weapons that I think matter that hold Burrow back definitely.
And I understand what I'm completely fine with that opinion of for the future I'd rather Burrow. I just want to call him out because I understand where him and I have been.
For sure, but I think
I need accountability.
He saw Burrow go to the Super Bowl. And he saw Herbert blow 27-0.
It's not that, because I don't think Herbert takes a lot of the blame. But I think you have Mahomes at 1, and then you have Allen, Burrow, and Herbert. And every single year, there's going to be years where Herbert's better. There's going to be years that Burrow's better. There's going to be years that Allen's better. These 3 are all in that top tier. So there's going to be some years that, some guys outperform others. And we've seen Joe Burrow, up to this point, be better than Justin Herbert. That you're right. I had Herbert, but I'm not going to just stick with my take because I think he's going to be better.
Have we seen him be better?
Burrow.
Last year, who was better in your opinion? Be honest.
What in
last
the
year? Who was better?
It would have to be Herbert because you had Herbert over.
Raw stats wise, this is the difference.
Just no. What your eyes are telling you, and if you want to include the numbers,
Herbert
I'm fine
jumps
with
off the screen more for sure.
Okay, and you are here. There is a lot of evidence to show that you were not very in favor of Joe Burrow's playoff run.
Correct.
Now, I understand. Yes, it impressed me, but I was with you to a degree that I felt like people overhyped it a little bit. I think he played well.
I agree.
I don't think that he played the exceptional football some feel like he did. And I'm not saying you're saying that that's why I said some, because you definitely were fair. You gave him his credit, but we were a little bit more on the side of he was good. He was not the all-world player that's something he is. So now this year, where yes, I think statistically Burrow had the better season, but also I believe Burrow had the better situation and the better offensive line for a majority of the season, except for recently where the guy started to fall apart, where Herbert was winning games basically with Josh Palmer, DeAndre Carter, Gerald Everett, and Austin Eckler. And this is with a guy in Joe Lombardi who has limited Herbert up until this point in time, but he still was winning games and made it to the playoffs.
This isn't a who would you take in a vacuum. We know the situations. We know the situations Burrow are going to be in for the next 5 years, and we know the situation Herbert's going to be for the next 5 years.
I could not agree more.
So, it's just very hard for me to see a world where I see what Burrow has and all of the weapons he has and the defense that's been phenomenal for the last 2 years, especially in a division that might be losing Lamar. And then I see the situation with the Chargers where Brandon Staley could be fired, not this year, but maybe next year he gets fired. His weapons are aging. Mike Will can't stay healthy, and he's in a division with Patrick Mahomes. So they're both great, but right now, who do I think? It's hard. We're talking about the top 4 guys in the league. We could go back and forth on this all day, but right now, Burrow has had more success in terms of making it further in the playoffs and statistically, and going for the future. I like his situation more because his team has done more for him than they have for Justin Herbert.
Question, fellas. Love what you all are saying. It's very interesting how we're all at different spectrum. You guys are the Burrow guys. Josh Allen guy.
Congrats, bro. There you go.
You're the Herbert guy.
You see how quickly you just abandoned us?
It's just like we're talking about the top 4 quarterbacks in the league.
That's beautiful. It's fun when we battle who's the number 2 because we know who number 1 is. It's very fun. But
it's a common flip aside moment.
Right? You feel like a proud dad right now?
It says pick for the future, right? That's what it's saying.
It's like, is the future just 5 years, or we're going to treat these guys?
Career.
No doubt. We're treating these guys like they're going to play 15 years.
For what they've shown you so far, is it not safe to say that Josh Allen and Joe Burrow have that better ability of mitigating more problems than Justin Herbert?
Well, Allen causes a lot of problems for himself too this year.
But I don't think so.
You don't think so? Because I think Josh Allen mitigates the lack of second receiver.
He also led the league in turnovers.
Well, that's 1 year, but yeah, I think he mitigates no run game because he is the run game. You can have a mid offensive line because his ability to get out the pocket and make plays. He can do that. And then with Joe Burrow, he has no offensive line. His smartness on the field mitigates that coaching problem because he's just that good. With Herbert, I think over the past 2-3 years, it is a lot of excuses that he just, and it's nothing wrong with it, but it's just a lot of things that hinder him, and I don't think he can mitigate the same amount of problems that Josh Allen and Joe Burrow has, and I think that has to factor into, because regardless of the 5 teams, 5 years, with Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, you put an okay roster with them offensively, they're gonna get that shit done.
Mm-hmm. And here's what I have to say to rebuke that. Last year, he was one of the main reasons, and by one of, I mean, in my opinion, the main reason they almost made it to the playoffs last year.
You talking about Herbert?
I'm talking against the Raiders where it was 4th down, and he made that crazy throw to Mike Williams. Mike Williams deserves credit. That was a great clutch catch. But on 4th down, how many 4th down conversions did Herbert have on that last drive?
He was going crazy.
Herbert was all world and stepped up to the moment. I think in this position where against the Jaguars, he got too comfortable. And sometimes that could be a fall of a person, no doubt. He thought that he had this game in the bag. He trusted his guys, and it was a fail. But last year, he left the field where I could say, you know what? He left everything that he had on that field, no doubt.
I don't know. I've seen Burrow in the playoffs. I've seen Allen in the playoffs. They're pretty much fucking amazing in the playoffs. And Justin Herbert's first time in, you're supposed to show out, you're one of the 4 best quarterbacks. And it's not only your fault, but you didn't come to play like those 2 guys would come to play. So, and I know right now it doesn't look good because Josh Allen played like shit against Miami, but for the most part,
for his standards,
and his last 2-3 seasons of him being elite, he's pretty much put on an amazing performance every time he's gotten to the playoffs. And Joe Burrow had a pretty great run last year, so I don't know. It's tough to the history isn't on Justin Herbert's side right now because he did just blow a 20-point lead.
Right, man.
So it definitely sucks right now. I would probably say I would go Allen, Burrow. I see the argument for Lamar because he has the unanimous MVP, and he's another guy who does so much on the offensive field in terms of passing and running.
Injuries into account.
I think, that's why with that I would probably go Allen, Burrow, Herbert, Lamar because of the injuries.